The following show is brought to you by Botswana Investment and Trade Center, Go Botswana, Citizen Entrepreneurial Development Agency, CEDA, and by Local Enterprise Authority, LEA. This is Making It in Botswana, a show that takes a look at how everyday products are made in Botswana.
We decided to reroute the ministry and implement a purposive APEX model, which was meant to bring together the various departments and parastatals under the ministry and break the silo mentality, especially where we thought that the parastatals and departments have a common mandate. And so we decided to implement the purposive APEX model with 3 APEXs, one of SME development, one of export development, and another one of investment promotion. And what we ended up seeing, or the goal there, was really to create a pipeline in the development of businesses. So we start with the SME APEX, which is solely focused on developing small and medium enterprises, because we believe really that that is the root of our industrial development ambitions. So we start with developing them, we start with mentorship, we start with ensuring that starting a business in Botswana is easy, and progressing from there on to getting the initial funding. And then we move on to the investment promotion aspect, which is not only about foreign direct investment, but it's also about domestic investment. So there we're looking at the growth of businesses that started at SME level and injecting more capital into them so that they expand, but also attracting medium to large scale businesses that can come and operate in Botswana. But under the investment promotion aspect, is not about attracting that investment. It's also about what do we need to put in place to ensure that that investment creates the value and the impact that we want. So what some of the issues that are focused in under this is the doing business environment. What do we need to reform in order to attract that investment? And also what do we need to do for domestic investments to expand? And then the third one is export development, and we're looking at those businesses now that they are grown, now that they have the capital that they need. Where do they export to? The ambition for Botswana is to become an export-led economy, and that is why we have the specific APEX that focuses on export development. Here we're focusing on the kind of standards that are necessary in order to export, the kind of support, financial and intellectual support that is necessary, institutional support that is necessary in order to get these products out of market. And then most importantly, what are the markets? Do we have the agreements in place? And what do we need to do to ensure that we do realize the target of becoming an export-led economy? To have 3 sets of incentives actually. One set of incentive, which is quite old and many businesses have been benefiting from, is in regards to manufacturing industry. So we have concessionary tax rates on manufacturing industries. It's about 7% reduction on tax from 22% to 15%. And we are encouraging all businesses that are manufacturing in Botswana to take advantage of that concession. And then we have the SPEDU incentives, which are really for areas and businesses around Silibe Pikwe area, Bubira, Zapong, and so forth. For any manufacturing industry that's set up there, we are offering 5% rate for the first 5 years and then 10% thereafter. So you can see that this is a very big discount for taxes from 22 to 5% and so forth. And in addition to that, the government is committing to buying 30% of its own demand from companies that are based in the SPEDU region. So this is a statutory instrument that will be implemented shortly to ensure that we are boosting demand and production for the companies that are set set up in that area. And then we have recently also passed incentives for the special economic zones, and there we're looking primarily for companies that want to export and not necessarily for the domestic market. And there we are similarly offering 5 and 10% tax incentives, and we are also saying that there is a repatriation of profits. We're not encouraging it, but we don't have any foreign currency controls. And in addition to that, for any manufacturing equipment that is being imported, we ensure that there is no duty that is paid for that, especially for manufacturing equipment. So there's several other, there's a whole plethora of incentives that are in place to boost the manufacturing industry. We want to see the manufacturing industry growing, but we want to see the accompanying services growing as well. And because the services, they create a conducive environment in order for you to do more manufacturing locally. So that those services include being able to access financing. So we need more financing institutions that are here, legal services, marketing services, branding, services, all of them that can support this manufacturing industry that we want. And the current state, not where we want it to be, but I am glad that the numbers show that we have managed to reduce the import bill, and I think it's by about 300 million pula, and that is it's a win, but it's not a big win. We want to be more aggressive in the next figures that will come out, and we have been supporting in various aspects. We're working with the retailers to ensure that they are carrying more locally produced goods, and we have seen that in the uptake in the food industry, and we are seeing a lot of the clothing companies also subcontracting some of our textile producers, textile manufacturers that are being supported by the likes of Mr. Price, by the likes of Woolworths and so forth. And you might have noticed some of your towels, most of the towels, when you walk into a shop and you look, they are actually made in Botswana, including if you go to any hotel in South Africa. So we're very proud of that. And then we are also working on a local supplier development program with UNDP, which has selected a few big companies, and we are bringing in the smaller companies in order to support them in both the supply and value chain. And UNDP has contracted several consultants that will assist the smaller businesses in all the business processes that they need to do in order to tap into the markets that are being availed by the bigger companies. So we are looking forward to a lot more activity in the coming year, and we hope that it will be reflected, as has been, in the business confidence in this country, and we're hoping that in the next year will be better. And because sadly all the reforms we have done were passed by time, by the time the World Bank came here to do a study on doing business, we hadn't passed our reforms in Parliament. So we're hoping in the next year, because we would have had time to implement, that will also be reflected in the ratings, and Botswana would have moved up in the ratings in terms of doing business. But most importantly, we're hoping that all of these reforms and activities that we're undertaking will be shown in the everyday lives of Botswana, that we will see more wealth being created locally, we will see more Botswana in businesses that are successful, and we will be able to look or review at some of our policies instead of where we are in 53% implementation of EDD, which we think is dismal, that in the next year we will see it being around 70% as we grow and as we work at enforcing EDD and also citizen economic empowerment. We are working on both domestic and foreign direct investment, and we want to encourage those that are domestic to want to go into more businesses. And these incentives are not only for foreign companies, they are also for Botswana, and we encourage them to take advantage, to visit our BITC offices, our one-stop service centers at BITC, or come to the ministry to talk to the Department of Industrial Affairs. But also for the foreign direct investors that might be looking at this and thinking, I want to invest in Botswana, we are certainly a premier investment destination, and we want to be part of your Pan-African story. And for someone that is looking at this and wondering, what do I need to do next? Who do I talk to? I would encourage you to start off at layer, which is why we have created that pipeline, that you start at layer, tell them your proposal, ask them to help you with your proposal, even including for branding, and then they will help you to move forward to CEDA. And I actually forgot one of the latest offerings that we have at the ministry to encourage more manufacturing and production industries. We have introduced what we call a pre-project fund, and this one is to assist those that need to go through EIAs and health tests and all of that, the things that you need to do before you start your factory or you start your farm. You go through layer, they assist you with the processes, and if you qualify, then CEDA will release that money. We have set aside about 5 million pula for it, but so far we have seen 22 companies which have only tapped to around 250, 280 million pula, 280,000 pula, and there's so much more that is left, so we hope that people will utilize this. My message to those that are watching is we are positioning ourselves to be a premier investment destination in the continent, in Africa, which is why we are making all of these agreements, and we are opening up markets to any business that is set up in Botswana. And we want to be able to give the right incentive package that will get you to set up here and to support industries that exist. And for those that are wondering why they should buy local, because we have instituted last year a statutory instrument to test out for one industry what would happen if we supported local. And I can tell you, with just the one industry that we have tried it with, we have seen employment quadruple. We have seen investment also almost quadruple in the area, and we have seen local participation in that area also increase. And these are the things that we want. We want to see employment increasing, we want to see wealth increasing, and we want to see a more active participation of people in the economy. So buy local, because it is worth it. It will create employment, it will create wealth, and these are things that we will be proud of. Will set a base. When people look from outside, they will say, we want to come there because the people of Botswana have a trust in their own economy, so we should trust it as well. Last year we started our market streets, and we were bringing in all of these fantastic businesses to try to showcase the things that they are making. And we realized that the market street can't be everywhere, so we decided to introduce this TV show. So we encourage people to watch it so that they can get the feel of the market street and see what kind of products are being made in Botswana, because it is possible and they are fantastic and the quality is great, and it's just for us to show to the rest of the world and ourselves that Botswana can make it, companies in Botswana can make it, and are doing fantastic things. So instead of starting to look outside and looking for a certain product, let's start first. Ask yourself, can this thing be made in Botswana? And the answer will most probably be yes. So visitors, visit the ministry, visit BITC, and find out what else is made in Botswana.
This is Making It in Botswana, a show that takes a look at how everyday products are made in Botswana.